Reason 14 is finally out. My name is Philip, I'm the host of this channel, and I'll walk you through the new features waiting for you in Reason 14. In the video description, you'll also find an affiliate link that gives you a 20% discount on Reason. First, the obvious changes. The top navigation bar has been visually redesigned, and the same goes for the transport panel at the bottom of the screen. The mixer now comes with a dark skin, which is enabled by default. If you prefer the light mode, go to Settings in the top right corner. Under the Interface tab, you will find the option under Themes. Keep in mind that this change only becomes visible after restarting Reason. On the Browsing tab, there's now an option called Device Sorting in New Songs. If this is set to Rec per Track, each of your tracks will get its own rec column. This helps keeping things organized instead of stacking more and more devices into a single rec. Of course, you can change the setting at any time. In version 14, the rec floats in a separate window by default. If the single column mode in the top right is enabled, the rec window will only show one rec column. In this mode, you can switch between columns using the left and right arrow keys. If you are not a fan of floating windows and prefer the classic rec, you can disable this under View by turning off Show Rec in Different Window. The track panel is now the new centerpiece of the sequencer. Thanks to it, you can quickly and efficiently build simple effect changes without switching to the rec view, while still having focused and direct access to the rec whenever you need it. When you create an audio track, you'll see its name at the top. Under Insert FX, you can drag any effect chains into the panel from the browser or the device window in any order you like. Made a mistake? No problem. Just move the effect to the desired position, and the track panel will take care of the routing. If you want to replace a device, drag a new one directly on top of it until the double arrow icon appears. Hovering over an effect device shows 3 icons beneath it. To turn the effect on and off, to browse patches if the device supports patches, and to jump directly to the device in the rec, exactly where it is located, which means no more endless scrolling through the rec. Below the Insert FX, you'll find the Sends, where you can access existing sound effects and create new ones if you need it. A right click also gives you access to the pre-fader option. At the bottom of the track panel, you'll find a mixer section. This gives you access to level, pen, stereo width, as well as solo and mute for stereo tracks. For mono tracks like your vocals here, there is no stereo width control, of course. You can also open the analyzer from here to adjust the EQ of the selected channel. Under the color-coded channel name, you can choose whether your signal goes to the master or to another bus. When you create an audio track, the track panel looks slightly different. The instrument sits before the mix channel and therefore before the Insert FX. Before the instrument, you can add one or more players. You can drop effects into the Insert FX as usual, or directly below the instrument if you want to combine the chain into a combinator later. Mix channels now also appear in the rec below the instruments. This was changed to make the signal flow easier to understand. In earlier versions, mix channels were placed above the instrument. If you select the master section in the sequencer, you can also add and edit effects devices here. Instead of sends, you'll see the return levels of your sound effects. If an instrument or effects device has multiple output options, like redrum or osmium, you can connect them to additional mix channels through the rec. In this case, numbers will appear under redrum in the track panel. You can use these to navigate through the new mix channel. If you connect an effect to Osmium's external FX in and output, the same will happen. Thanks to track folders, you can finally bring order to your chaos. Use the plus icon to add a folder, or do it via the right-click menu. To assign tracks to a folder, simply drag them onto the folder. You are in the right spot when a downward arrow appears. Folders can be nested up to 3 levels deep. This allows you to group your entire instrumental and all its individual elements and collapse them when you need space for your vocals. The track folder clip always shows a preview of the clips inside it. If no clip inside the folder is playing, the folder clip disappears at this area. You can cut, move and copy folder clips just like normal clips. Folder clips merge automatically when no clear separation is possible anymore. Time stretching is unfortunately not available at this level. The idea is simple. Folders help others understand your system and allow you to start an arrangement quickly and effortlessly. Looped clips will make your life easier from now on. If you have something in your track that repeats constantly, vocals, melody, chords, drums, or even automation, you can now replace them with looped clips. Create a clip, select it, and activate loop clips in the top right. The same happens if you extend the clip from the top edge to the left or right. Once you see the loop symbol behind the bracket, you're good. Stretch the clip to the desired length. Any changes you make to the clip will be reflected in every instance of the loop. Right-clicking a looped clip gives you 3 options. Convert to single clip turns the entire looped clip into a normal clip. Convert to separate clips disables loop clips and replaces them with individual clips across the loop range. Duplicate loop instance creates an extra clip on top of the looped clips. This takes priority, and the loop underneath is ignored, just like with blocks. If you need variation at a specific point, use the razor tool to cut a clip, and that section can now be edited independently. When a loop clip is selected, you also get the options for loop length and loop offset at the top. These let you create interesting moments in your song, like stutter effects on vocals. Loop length can also be adjusted directly on the clip whilst holding control. With MIDI Note Chase, you can trigger MIDI notes from any point in the timeline. This is helpful when you have long sustained notes and don't want to play from the beginning every time just to hear the transition that happens many bars later. Automatic tempo detection automatically adjusts the audio to your song's tempo. This works great with short loops, and if it doesn't, you can always scale and adjust it manually in the edit area under tempo. The RV9 Reverb Station is more than just a reverb. You get 9 different algorithms, and next to them you can set decay time, high and low pass damping, and with the yellow knobs you can control stereo width and dry wet. If you activate ducking, the level control determines how strongly your signal should be ducked, similar to Ripley's ducking amount. Decay lets you suppress the reverb tail in a different way. It resets the tail with every new hit instead of just lowering its volume temporarily. With recover, you set how long the ducking should last. You can also expand the RV9 on the left. Here you will find pre-delay, EQ and shimmer options for each algorithm. Pre-delay delays your reverb signal, now even with a sync button. The 4-band EQ helps refine the sound after the reverb. You can adjust the Q value by holding Alt or using the Q control. The shimmer module gives you 4 modes to pitch: octave, fifth, fourth and octave down, plenty of creative possibilities. The algorithms Room, Hall, Arena and Cathedral are all using the same graphic because they work similarly in theory. They share parameters like early reflections, size and modulation, and they also include freeze and kill switches. Freeze sets the decay to infinite and freezes the reverb at the moment you activate it. Kill removes the freeze state by clearing the buffer. If you hold kill, the buffer still fills. This means you can use it like a sustain pedal on a piano. The plate and spring algorithms give you 4 plates and 4 springs to experiment with. You can adjust the size or length, and spring flutter emulates how much the reverb should flutter. A bit like tape wobble, but different. The echo verb algorithm acts like a hybrid where each echo repeat blends more into the reverb. You can control the strength and width of the diffusion. The granular mode works similarly to the granular synths. Incoming audio is stored in a buffer and played back as granular fragments depending on your settings. Grain length and rate determine how much and how often grains are generated. Buffer size lets you record more time into the buffer, which drastically changes the result. Pitch mod changes the pitch of random grains. Reverse increases the chance of grains being reversed. Diffuse smears everything into a reverb-like texture. The spectral algorithm is essentially an additive synth reverb. Since the reverb is synthesized, you get wild options here. Spectral EQ gives you curves to re-synthesize your reverb. Tonal resonance gives you 4 banks of selectable notes from the piano below. Turning up the amount dampens all unselected notes, while the selected ones resonate into the reverb. You can automate bank switching to match your reverb to your chords. The Reason 14 Soundbank has also been updated. over 900 new drum samples, 50 new Europa patches with 50 new wavetables, 20 new RV7000 patches with 20 new impulse responses, and a favorites list containing all of this, called New in Reason 14. My conclusion: Reason 14 brings long overdue workflow improvements, but with a fresh twist that stays true to Reason's core, the community. Reason 12 and 13 were mainly updates for newcomers. For those who already have a DAW and use Reason only as a VST. Nothing wrong with that, I like that development. But version 14 finally brings features back for Reason DAW users. The focus is on organization, clarity and workflow. And in my experience, after a short adjustment period, everything works really well. It's definitely a solid step in the right direction. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a like and a comment on this video if you have more questions about Reason 14. Also, check out older videos. You might discover something new. Take care, see you next time, bye.